In order to get a sense of the challenges and opportunities which surround us here at St. Luke's, I think it's helpful to think about the newspaper industry. There's an appropriate parallel. It's an industry that has suffered a tremendous amount of change and at the same time seen opportunities. For the last 20 years, the industry has been undergoing certain pressures. And as you well know, a number of newspapers and other media outlets have folded. Only those who have evolved have thrived in this environment. The New York Times springs to mind as one particular example. It was slow to make adaptive changes, one of the last, as it was called, the Gray Lady, one of the last to incorporate color photographs. And yet, even when we first saw a color photograph on the front page, work had already been happening behind the scenes to incorporate different styles of media beyond the print page. Today, the New York Times is an excellent resource for news, and it is brought to you not only by the print page that might be delivered in your home. You can access their webpage, and on that, see various media, interviews, audio clips, video, and bringing together kind of an entire combination of resources so that you, as you learn more about news, may have a richer experience. I think that's a useful parallel for us to think in the church. I think also about the kinds of life that the first century Christians may have thought about. They could not have begun to imagine anything that we call our congregational life here at St. Luke's. The prospect of denominations and institutional bureaucracy, let alone this solid and lovely building, would not have occurred to the first followers of Jesus. Remember, they were seeing themselves as a circle, a communal gathering that saw people through in their well-being from life through death and awaiting the imminent resurrection. They did so by sharing their food, welcoming one another with radical hospitality as they traveled from home to home, town to town, and at the last, really providing a safe and dignified place for burial, hence the life in the catacombs. It's a far cry from the way that we are gathered today, and yet it helps me see that it is conceivable that Christians, when they gather in community in the century and centuries to come, will be living into a reality we have yet to imagine. I'm excited that we as a faith community are actively embarking on the kind of work of being still and discerning what it is that the gospel and Christ calls us to be, so that we are not simply coming on unconscious assumptions of what we might have preserved from a Christianity we've known since our childhood, or preserving a certain form that we may have inherited just since the Reformation. So I invite you to be a part of the continuing evolution of the Crossroads Project that is all about discerning, thinking, and frankly, helping us live in with great energy, creativity, and promise the future that God holds for us. Thanks.